All right. All right. Welcome to class, guys. Today we'll take it up from joins, like I said, but we'll be taking it up from cross joins. Okay. So cross joins is the same thing as full joins. It brings everything from the left table, from the right table together into one table. Okay. So wherever there's a value in the left table that without corresponding values in the right table, what we'll have on the right side will be nulls. When there are values on the right side without corresponding values on the left side, what we are going to have there will also be nulls on the left hand side of the ledger. I'm saying ledger now like an accounting student. So here we're going to perform a cross join using this same table that we have here. So in this table, what the instance that we had here was that we needed all the names of the cities and then the language they speak. Okay, so let's just copy this and paste it below here. All the names of the cities and the language they speak. So we have select city dot name, comma, then country language dot language, which is the column for the language they speak. Then we now have from city, and then we now have right join country language. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to modify this code, and then we're going to have the cross join code. So rather than right join, I'm just going to put cross join. So in the case of cross join, we don't have to specify on. We can just leave it this way to say cross join country language. You see, this one is very stressless. And then you can see that we have the same table here. Okay. Um, this is a very long table. Okay. So can you see what we just did here? So we have the select name of the city and then the name of the language of that city from the both table from this city cross join the other city, and then we automatically have everything. Okay, so this is pretty much what a cross join code would look like by default. Do we understand this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now if you notice what we have here, if you notice the table that we have here, you would notice that we have Kabul. Kabul is the name of a city, and then the language here is Shona, Kabul. This is looking like Ninja or something. Kabul in blah blah blah. And then we have Kabul with English. So with this cross-join effect like this, what we are saying is that this each city is merged with all the language in our database before a new city starts. You can see that all of this is Kabul, Kabul with all the language. Do you understand? So this is not like the desired result that we want. So instead of writing on like we'd usually do, what we are going to add to this cross join code is where. So this brings us to writing joins with conditions. So here we can specify saying where city dot country code equal to country language dot language and dot country code rather. Okay. So with this our where code, you know that usually when we want to do something like this, we'll use on instead. But in cross join, what we are going to be using is a where instead of on. Okay. So let's do this. If we try to sort this out this way, let's see what we have. So you can see that now in Kabul they speak Balochi, Dari, Pashto, Uzbek, and the rest of them. And then with next moment we have Kandahar, which must be a city in one of these Asian countries. So pretty much this is now the desired result that we're looking for. So your cross join would come with your where instead of on, like the way we have with the other joins. Okay, can we leave cross join now and disappear? Hello,
Right here, sir.
I
do
yeah.
we understand this? Can we leave this now and go back to and go to the next thing that we have for the day? Or do you have questions? Hmm. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Evening, sir.
Welcome to class.
Evening, sir.
Did we all have a very long day? Because I feel like everybody is overly quiet for my liking this evening.
Maybe it's the rain that caused it
Where did rain fall?
in
Where
Lagos.
River
Lagos?
State. River State.
It also rained in River State.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, we also had our own share with this in the rain in Abuja too yesterday slash today morning. Okay, so it could be rained. I know the weather is for two, and you probably want to be with your husband or with your wife, or you probably want to be watching one movie or the other. So, but we just have like, see, in less than 2 hours now, we'll be done with class for today, and we'll be done with class entirely. So you can go back and start preparing for Christmas and enjoy the rest of the weather. So can we just all gather ourselves and come back to class because I'm already feeling alone in this class.
Sorry,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
But you are
Okay,
not alone.
okay, no, no, wahala. Let's get back to class then. The reason why I
Hello,
had to pause.
Sana.
Yeah, yes,
Good
Mrs.
evening,
Bolande.
sir.
Good evening. Good evening. How are you?
Very fine, thank you. Mr. Ona, please, when I ran my cross join, I'm getting error.
What did he say?
Did you hear me?
What does your error code say?
It says 1146 table SYS doesn't exist.
SYS doesn't exist.
Yes.
It's from your code. Maybe you are referring to a table that does not exist.
Maybe we are using Word.
We're using Word, so I'm wondering
Yes.
why you have SYS does not exist if you didn't mention SYS in your code.
I didn't mention SYS.
Okay, now take a look at this code. Maybe I should copy it and paste for you. It's on the comment section. Try this one.
Okay.
Yeah, and let me know if it works. Okay, so the reason why I had to pause class to come back,
Thank you, sir.
yeah, you're welcome. The reason why I had to pause class to come back to ask us how we are all doing is because there was this day I was teaching for like 1 hour, and then I was asking my client, "Do you understand?" And she didn't understand anything. And I was so stressed already. I'm like, I had explained this thing like over and over and over again. And it wasn't just sinking in. So I now stopped and I said, "How are you?" And then she said, "I'm not fine." "What's going on with you?" And then she started saying a lot of things that was going on. And by the time she had taken like 20 minutes to talk and rant and talk and everything, after like 20 minutes, she now said, "Ah, I'm fine now. We can go back to class." And in less than 5 minutes, everything I was explaining, she had already gotten it and we could move on. So that's the reason why I had to pause by to say, okay, how is everyone doing? But seeing that we are fine and it's just the weather, I think we can take it up from here. Okay. So cross join is a lot of times we barely use cross join. It's a possibility, but a lot of times we barely use it. But it exists, and this is what we have, and how we can pull off a cross join. Again, you just have to mention the all the tables that you're interested in and the columns in those tables, like we usually do for the other joins, from the first city. Mind you, this first city that you mentioned from city, in this case here, since you mentioned from city, the first this thing you're mentioning now becomes your left table. Okay. So if you say from city, city is now your left table. Then when you now say cross join country language, this country language table is now your right table. So your second table is your right table, your first table is your left table. Okay. So you can now have a where code where country code is equal to country language and all of that. And if you notice, I don't know, if you are very observant, you notice that, and if you think about it, this same thing will give us the same result as inner join. Okay. So that's this is cross join for us. Let's take it further and talk about when we need to perform multiple joins. Joining multiple tables. Multiple tables will be more than two now in this case because everything we'll be working on are two tables. So let's have joining multiple tables. Okay, so in the case of joining multiple tables, let's assume, let me get back to this, right? Let's pull out all these three tables and see what we have. So on our country table, we have name of the country, continent, region, surface area. On our city table, we have the name of the cities, population of the city, and the district the city is in. And then in our language table, we have language, and then we have whether language is official or not. So let's see if we can pull off the name of the country, continent the country is in, and the region of the country, and then also pull off the name of the city, okay, and maybe the district of the city and population of the city, and then also pull off the language that they speak. So that'll be us pulling different things from three different tables now, okay? So let's do this. First off, we can have select. Okay, so let's break our code as usual again. What do we have first? We have country, right? So we said the first one we're going to use is country table, okay? So we're going to have here country dot, we said country name, right? Country dot name, country dot, what else do we have? Continent, country dot,
Region.
region, okay? So let's take it up. The next thing that we need is from the city
City.
table, okay? So here we have city dot name, city dot, what's the other one now? District. Okay, and then let's have population here. City dot population. Now let me show you something. Did you notice that here we have name and here we also have name, which means that
Yes,
we
sir.
most likely will be having ambiguity of names because there's name in country, there's name in city. So we'll be having two columns bearing name, which can be a challenge. So we're going to use aliases to fix this. So we can say country dot name as country name. We are renaming the columns now, okay? City.name as city name. If you don't understand aliases, go back to our last week class. We mentioned it, okay? So as city name. So here we have city.district, city.district, city.population. What else do we have? We have country language, country language dot language. And then let's take whether it's official or not. Country language dot is official. Okay, so in this case now, our left table from country as a table. Hey, you guys are now big people. Oh. Still long code that you guys are writing. Then we can now have, in this case now, let's say for instance, we want to, the kind of join we want to do with country and city is inner join. Okay, so we can now say from country inner join inner join city. Does this make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we can have in adjoint city
On.
on country dot code equal to city dot country code. Okay, we have a comma here now, and then we can also have in or maybe left join. So with the result, whatever result you get from country and city put together, we can now use that result to do a left join
Okay.
of country language. Okay, so I think, is it my comma now? Or something is wrong somewhere. Okay, I think it's a comma. So left join country language on. Can you see that? So we can also have, in this case now, we can have maybe country dot country code dot code equal to country language dot country code. How do you see this? Let me run it first before I make mouth. Can you see what we have? Class rep and the reaction. Now, do you now see that with this now, we've been able to create an inner join between country and city table and a left join with the results that we got from joining of with the result that we got from inner join of country and city, and then we are now left joining country language to that. So pretty much that's why we have this like this, and we have created a new table from three different tables entirely. So this is the syntax that we use every time we need to create a join between two or more tables. Okay, so if for instance I wanted to add another join again, I can add another join and say write join and then specify the third table that I want to join. But in this case, I'm going to just stop here so that we don't over exhaust it. Okay, so does this code make sense? Because I'm about to make it even more complex again.
Okay, are we not going to add right join to it?
Right join of to right join what?
Yeah, because you said it's multiple tables.
That's what I'm saying. It's not by multiple tables doesn't mean we have to have all the kinds of joins
Okay,
inside.
okay,
Okay,
okay.
it depends on the situation. Here we want to join three tables. The first two tables we want to use inner join to join it. But once you join that table, obviously you know that that will now give us the new result will be one table. Okay, so let me cut this out first before we come back and put this left join. So this is the usual code that we use for this is the code that we use for sorry if I do this now is going to affect my code because I'm not referencing this third one. But pretty much, if you're joining two tables, this is the code you use. But your result is going to be one table, okay? So that your new result now is what you want to use to perform the third join with the third table, which is what we have here, okay? So this is table number one has country name, city, and region. Table number two has city name, district, and population. Then table number three comes with language and is official. Now, notice this as that we use here to say as country name. Did you notice the column name? See the column name here, country name, just the way we specified it here with the as. If you go to city name here, where we specified as city name, you'll notice that we also have city name. It's easy now to sort out those differences because we have it's sorry, I was going to say it's important to sort out those differences because here where we have country name and where we have city name, it would have still come out as name and name, which wouldn't make sense. Okay, so that's the reason why we did that. So on this, in this case now, this is what our result is going to look like from joining three tables, and this is what the syntax looks like. What I'm going to do is that this my very note like this. No, I'm not going to share it. Copy it from the video. Go and watch it from YouTube. Thank you. All right. Do we have another question about this? Can I go ahead and make it complex? Somebody please answer me now, please.
No question, sir. No
With
question.
you, sir.
It is well. Okay, so let's get back to this now. So if this is the code that we have, now I'm about to let me do this for a smaller table, okay? Before I do it with that bigger code. So this code that we have here, let's have these examples, okay? So with this code I'm pasting here, obviously you already know this code where we take all the city names and the language that the city speaks, okay? So we have something like this. Now I want to modify this
There's no
code to
question.
show you. Hello, Miss Olayinka. Hello, I can't hear you. Okay, do you have a question? Hello? We can't hear you. Hello, we can't hear you. Can you maybe use the comment section? Can't hear you at all. All right, so while we're waiting for Miss Olanika to drop her observation, we have this from Damilari. Please, sir, how can we give new table a new name? Are you asking how you can rename a table? Damilari, please, can you speak up? Use the microphone, please. What's wrong with this network now? A lot of people say they are speaking and we can't hear them. Okay, Damilari, you are class rep. You guys are good. All right. Um, I hope that whatever anyone has to say is an observation and not a question. And if it's a question, I'll come back to it. So, but while we are waiting for that, let's just talk about this code here. Okay. So in this code, this is the code that we wrote yesterday to bring out a combination of all the names of the city and the language, okay, that those cities speaks. Okay. So we have this here. Now, this is what we're going to do with this code. All right. So in this case, instead of me to write, now we're still talking about how we can apply aliases to our code. Okay. Just the way we applied aliases here to say as country name and all of that. I want to show you another way that we can apply aliases. So instead of me to write all the names of the table, like city.name, city dot blah blah blah, or country language dot that, I can give them an abbreviation. Okay. So for instance, this city, I can leave it as c.name instead of city.name. Then this country language, instead of using country language info, I can give it an abbreviation. This abbreviation does not have to be, it doesn't have to be, there's no rule behind it. Just give it anything that you know that whatever name you give it is going to be fine. Okay. So in the case of city, I know that I'm using C for city. And then in the case of country language, I know that I'm using CL for country language. So once I say c.name, cl.language, and then I now say from city, I'll now mention as C. Okay. So now everywhere they see in this my code, in this code now, MySQL knows that this C stands for city because I'm renaming city here to C, okay, in this case. And then for country language, then I will now say right join country language as what? CL. Okay, so this is me renaming country language. Okay, so I have on here. So instead of city here, I can remove the city now and leave it as C. And then instead of country language, I can remove country language and put CL. Do you guys understand what I did here?
No, please, sir. Can you go back again?
Okay. Um, okay. So look at this. Can you see this code here? This our multiple tables code. Okay. So in this our multiple table code, see what we are having here. We are having to specify country, country, country again and again, okay? Which is actually a lot of work. City, 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 and then here we have country language, country language, country language. So instead of typing all the table names, okay, I'm saying that we can, instead of that, use abbreviations for those tables. Okay, we can create an abbreviations for those and then use them. So in this case, what I'm saying is instead of writing city dot name, which is like the full table name dot the name of the column we are looking for, I can give the city table an abbreviation that is called C. Okay, and then instead of coming here to come and write country language dot language, I can use the abbreviation CL, okay, to represent country language. But then when I come back to specify the names of my tables that I want to pull out this data from, I can now say from city. Then I can now use my aliases to make reference to this C, telling my SQL that this C here stands for city. Do you understand? And then in this place here, I'm saying right join country language as CL, also specifying that this CL here is the same thing as country language. Okay. So that way, whatever I'm doing here, I don't have to write the full name again, full name of the tables again. I can just use C here and CL here, and it will still be fine. I'll still get the same result. Now, if I'm applying this to these are big code, let me show you what it's going to look like. Okay. Show you this. Okay, so here applying this to our big code simply means that I don't have to specify all my table names again. So my country table, I can give it an alias called A. So anywhere country is, I will just replace that country with A dot name, A dot continent, A dot region. Then I'll replace the city with B. Okay, do you now see that my code is becoming shorter? B, city with B, B, city with B, and then I'll replace country language with C. Okay, C, make that in small letters. It doesn't have to be in small letters. This is just me wanting everything to look perfect and uniform. Okay, so I'm replacing country language with C. So that means that if you see A, what does A stand for? Gloria, answer me ASAP. A stands for what? Is Gloria in
Country.
class?
So,
Okay, so A stands for country, B stands for city, C stands for country language. Okay, so that's what I've done here, just to shorten my code because I don't want to have to go through the stress of writing all the table names again and again. Okay, so now since I've already specified all of these abbreviations, when I come to country now, I can now say from country, I can now specify as A because I used A here in place of country. So I can say from country as A. Now I'm linking A with country. Then when I go to city, I can say in adjoin city as B, saying that anywhere in my code where you find B in the place where I'm supposed to put table name, then I'm referring to city table. Okay, so anywhere you see country, when I get to left join country language, I can now use that as C here because country language, we represented that with C. Okay, so in that case now, once this is done, it means that in every other place, I can use my A for country, B for country code, C for that's country.code now. Country, sorry, that's A here, sorry. Because of country is A, and then for country language, I can have C. Pretty much, did you notice that this my code is way shorter than the other one here? The one we have above here. This is the main code. If you wrote everything in full, this is the abbreviated code. Okay, so if I run this, I'm still going to get the same result. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Okay, we can hear you now, Lanika. You were going to say something earlier.
Okay, I was going to take us back a little. I'm sorry if that is not going to be convenient, but um, I just want to know the actual way in which we can use, for example, live situations where we can use, um, inner join and outer join.
Um, can I ask a question? Have you been in class the last 2 days?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, you're not taking
But
us this
I
class for
have been following the videos.
the
Actually, I've
videos.
been, yes, I have. So that's the question I have.
Okay. If you saw the videos for yesterday's class and Sunday's class, that's last week's Sunday's class, we gave like detailed explanation of where in case scenarios where we can use left joins, right joins, inner joins, and cross joins. Okay, but I'm going to, for class purpose, I'm just going to also attend to that briefly before we go further. But permit me to answer questions that are related to what we are doing currently before I jump back to answer that. So I have a question from,
Okay, that's
okay,
fine.
yeah, thank you. I have a question from Pastor Bawalola here. Good to have you in class. Good evening. From here,
Thank you, sir. Good evening, sir.
do you continue? Yes, you're welcome. Do you continue to use C and CL, or anytime you want to write anything again, you still have to define them again? Okay, all right, that makes sense. Let me show you. So these aliases that we have here, they are only restricted to this code, okay? Like this. So that means that I can't go back and say because I used A for country name, I can't go back to say select everything from A. Okay. So if I say select everything from A because I used A to represent country, see that it will tell me A does not exist. Okay. So this method I'm using, I specified, can only be used, like all of these abbreviations are only relevant within this block of code like this that we've highlighted. Outside of this block of code, you have to redefine them if you need to write a new block of code again. I believe I answered your questions.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so back to the question that Ms. Olayinka asked. So the question you are asking is, in what cases do we use inner join, left join, and right join? I'm just going to I'm going to use the same example that we used in the previous class. Imagine we have with HR all the list of the staff that are in the company, and then we have a machine that takes in attendance every day, time in and time out, and then with the username of those staff in the company. Okay, so if for instance your boss says to you, if for instance your boss says, I want the name of all the staff who have attendance, okay, like all the names of the staff that have been coming to the office fully, and you fully know that there are some staff that have not been coming to the office. All right, let me make this maybe a bit more complex. I hope I'm able to pull through with this explanation clearly. Okay, so imagine that we have 100 staff, okay, on the payroll, but only 50 are coming to class to work. 50 others are not coming to work. And then we have an attendance machine that does not just take record of only staff coming to work, it also takes record of visitors. All right. Taking record of visitors. So it takes record of staff when they come into work, it takes record of visitors when they step in and when they are also going out. Okay. So in that case now, again, our left table, which is staff table, has all the names of the staff, about 100 of them. On the other right table, we have attendance of both staff and guests that came to the office. Now, if your boss says to you, I need a table containing the names of all the staffs that have been coming to work. Okay, so knowing fully well that of all these 100 staff, it's not all of them that comes to work. It means that there are some names in that staff list that is not supposed to be there. So in that kind of case, what you need to use is inner join, because what you're looking for is names that are in the staff list and are also in the attendance list. Okay, you don't need to. The reason why you're using inner join is because you don't want all the guest lists to be in that list, because your boss specifically asks for the list of staff that have been coming to work. Okay, and from the left table, which is the staff table, you don't want the names of those people who have not been coming to the office to be there. From the attendance table, you don't want the names of guests to be there. Also, in that list you're about to submit to your boss, you only want what is the names of staff that have attendance. So you're looking for what is common values or staff that are in your staff list and are also in your attendance. Okay, so in that case, you're using inner join because you're looking for what's common between the both tables. But on the ground that your boss says, I want the list of all the staff, okay, and then specify their attendance. It means that he wants the list of all the 100 staff, and then he wants to be able to identify those who have been coming to the office and those who have not been coming to the office at all. So, but whether they've been coming to the office or not, he wants it. Okay. So in this case, you want everything in the staff list, but you also want only those who have been coming to work from the attendance list because you don't want to also add guests from the attendance list. Okay. So in that case, if you are looking for everything from the left table and only staff that are in the attendance table so that you can specify those who have been coming to work. So in that case, you're using a left join because you want everything from your first table, which is staff table, and only staff that have been coming to attendance on the other hand. So, like I said, in that case, that's a left join thing. But what if your boss is saying that I want the names of the record of everybody who is in that time machine or that attendance machine, okay? And then he's saying with alongside the names of the staff that have been coming to work. It means that if the staff have not been coming to work, he doesn't want their name. He only wants the name of those who have been coming to the work alongside their attendance record, alongside the list of all the guests that have been coming to the office. So it means you want everything from the attendance table, but only the names of the staff that have been coming to work from the staff list. Okay, so in that case, what you're dealing with is a right to join because you want everything from your right table and only what your right table has in common with your left table from your left table. But if your boss is asking you to bring everything from like all the staff list plus all the attendance, including guests and including those who have not been coming to work, then you're looking at full or cross join in this case. Miss Olanka, did you get that explanation?
Yes, I did. It's just that, sorry, I have a particular challenge. Okay, is it based on collection that determines which one is going to be the right table and which one has to be on the left table?
It's not based on collection, it's based on how the syntax is written. Okay, so earlier when we started this class, I specified that whatever table you mention as your first table here in this case becomes your left table, and then the second table becomes your right table. That's how my SQL thinks. Okay, so even
Okay.
if you were the one that had all of those in hard copies drop on your table, like in hard copy, obviously one will be by your left and the other will be by your right. Okay, before you start sorting, isn't it?
Okay, it is well understood now.
Yeah, so
Yes.
the first table you are specifying is your left table. The second table then becomes your right table. So if, for instance, this is staff list and then this second one is attendance, it means this staff list is on the left table on the left hand side, and then attendance is on the right hand side. So in the case where you are looking for everything inside staff list, if staff list is on the left side, then you're looking for left join. In the case where you're looking for everything inside your attendance table, in that case, what you're looking for, since attendance table is the second table that you've mentioned, in that case, what you're looking for is a right join. Okay. And then when you're performing a full join, doesn't matter which one is left or right because everything is coming in either way. Progress. Can we make
Progress,
progress?
progress.
So we can progress.
All right. Thank you. Okay, so this is pretty much like a very simple example on how we can get to use alias within our code to make it brief and concise. Okay, let's oops. there's something I want us to address. I just want to be very sure that we have sufficient this in we've learned sufficiently enough to talk about that. So because what I want to talk about is how we can write joins and then use them with where. Okay. So let me get back and see if we can I'm trying to scroll through my notes and see if we can pull off something from there. Guys, do we really understand what we've learned so far? Do we really understand what we've learned so far?
For me, I do, sir.
All right. The class is unusually cold today. Maybe we'll close before 10 o'clock. All right. Thank you, class.
We are with you, sir. We are with you, sir.
I know you're with me. I just okay. Let's get this over with. Um. Okay. Let's assume, for instance, that we want to get all the countries in Africa and their cities. Okay. All the countries in Africa. Now, it's one thing to get all the countries, all the country names. Okay. It's one thing to get all the country names from country table and then add it with city table. For instance, we can say select. I'm going to keep using this alias now. All right. So we can have select what's that country. Let's just do let's write it in full. Country dot name to get the country name, and then we can have city dot name to get the names of the city, and then we can have from country. Country is our left table, and then um we can have let's say in a join city. Okay. So if we do this, let's have on country dot what's that country dot code equal to city dot country code. Mhm. So if we have this, we have all the names of the country, okay, and then all the names of the cities in those countries. But then the challenge is this: we in this case we are having all the names of the countries. We are not having all the names of the countries from Africa. Are we together? So in this case now we have to write a condition to ensure that the only countries that we have are countries from Africa. Are we together? So now that we've written all of these things like this, we have to go back and start specifying a where now. Say, for instance, we have to say where country, country dot name, sorry, where country dot region equal Africa. Okay, so if we run this code here in this case, seeing that we are adding our where code in this case, if we run this, let me see. Sorry, it's country continent that is Africa, not region. Country.continent equal Africa. So we're in this case, with this our where code now, we are able to pick out only countries. Can you see this? Only countries that are from Africa. So if the country is not from Africa, it won't be here on our database. Show you the possibility of having your where code, okay, alongside your join in the case where you don't need to pick up everything from your table, because all the examples we'll be doing so far down to this point involves us to what's the word now, all the examples we've been making so far involves that we are joining the entire thing from one table. We're just picking a few columns, so we're joining the entire thing from one table and the entire thing from the second table. Okay, so but a lot of times it may not even be in that, it may not be that way. It might be you taking a portion of your table and then adding it with another portion of your table. So I'm going to do another example, then give us a class. Sorry, a classwork. So this second example I'm going to do is going to model the case where we want to know the language, okay, with the language that the West African countries speak, okay. So we need to pick up the all the countries from West Africa and then pick up the language they speak from our country language table, okay. So now I'm not interested in all the country table. I'm interested in only West Africa, okay, all the countries from West Africa and then the language they speak. How many countries are in West Africa? I think about 16 countries, if I'm not mistaken, last I checked. So let's have this. All West African countries and their languages. Do you guys want to attempt this, or I should do it before I give you the classwork?
Please do
Okay, let me do this. Okay, so if I'm taking all the countries from Western Africa, and then it means that I'm going to have select, what do we have? Country table dot name, because that's the column we're interested in, okay. And then we're going to also have country language dot language, okay. So this is going to return to me all the countries and the language they speak. But now let's put from country, because country is now left table. Let's have inner join country language, okay. From country inner join country language on country.code equal country language dot country code, okay. So now this will return to me all the countries of the world and the language they speak, okay, whether they are in Western Africa or not. But our criteria says that we should pick only Western African countries. So for me to do this effectively, I have to add a where code. I'm going to say where region now. Sorry, where country, because the reason I'm adding the table name into this is because the reason I'm adding table name is because the column I want to use to do this filter exists inside country table, okay. So I'm saying where country dot region, okay, equal Western Africa, okay. So we can have this. So if I say where country does region equal Western Africa, it means that the only country names is going to be taken are country names that are in Western African region. Okay, so that's pretty much what this code is going to do. So we pull this off and execute it. See what we are ending up with. Only countries in Western Africa. Can we attempt this? Hello.
Aye, aye.
All right. Can we attempt a classwork?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the classwork I'm going to have you do. So I need all the country names, okay, of the world countries whose population is greater than 100 million. I need all their names and the language they speak. Can we attempt that? Names of all the countries in the world with a population greater than 100 million and the language they speak. All right, let's attempt that briefly. Please, if you're attending it, let me know that you are sorry, if you're attempting the questions, please let me know you are attempting it.
We are
So I don't,
attending. We are attending.
okay. So I don't wait for you and you're waiting for someone else and someone else is waiting for someone else. Awesome. All the countries in the world and the language they speak. Sorry, I didn't say all the countries. I meant all the countries with a population greater than 100 million. All right, somebody drop something already so that we can get on with class. Class rep. My own class rep. Select country.name, country.population, country.language from country in adjoint country language on country.code equal country language dot country code where population is greater than country language dot code where population is greater than country dot population is greater than 100 million. Okay, Adekunle Ahmed. Let me see. Ugoma, select country.name the comma country language dot language from country in adjoint country language on country dot code equal country language dot country code where country dot population is equal to 100 million. Ugoma, I said greater than, but your
Oh,
code
sorry.
on point. Yeah, your code is on point. Um, okay, Ahmed is on fire. Hmm. Okay, so Ahmed, your code is on point. You have a few spelling errors.
Sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Mm, yeah, check it. Well done. That's a good attempt. Damilari Maji. Country.name, country language dot language from country in adjoint country language on dami. Country dot code equal country language dot country code where country dot population is greater than dami, this is 1 million. Oh. I said 100 million. You have like two more zeros to go. Rhoda, I should select you.
I'm trying to type. Sorry.
Yeah, I get that. Ololade mi Ashake. Ololade, nice one. Select C the name, B the language from country as C in adjoint country language as B. Finally, someone is hearing my language. On C dot code equal to B dot country code. This is with where country dot population is greater than I think this is still 1 million. Somebody is missing two zeros. Yeah, it should be c dot population, not country dot population again. But this is still good, and it should be 100 million. This is a very good attempt, Ololade. So I think I have a very, very perfect solution for you guys. If you guys are willing to take it, I can give you guys a project to work on in group of fives. Okay. So but you have to work on that project to come back and then come and submit the project. It has to do with database creation and a few other things. So you guys are going to pair and then work on it, then get back to us and then submit it. We'll make a few corrections and then you guys can use that as your portfolio. But I like the attempt that I'm seeing. It simply means that the time we spent in class was not wasted. Miss Bolanle, select country dot name, then city name, then country dot population, comma, country language dot language from country in adjoint country language on country dot code equal to country language dot country code, where country dot population is greater than 100 million. So, Ms. Bolanle, this is a very, very good attempt. Is that you are including a lot of things we didn't ask for, like city here. We don't have anything to do with city in this table. It's just country name, like country dot name, comma, country language dot language. Okay, so that's the only thing that we have to do here. So this city name and all of that, we can get that off the chart. All right, but this is a very good attempt, Ms. Volandi. Rhoda, after writing select, now you're coming to come and give me 100 million with comma, 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 comma. Select country dot name, comma, Rhoda, I can't see your comma, country dot name, comma, country language dot language from country in adjoin country language on country dot code equal to country language spelling errors there dot country code. Okay, where population is greater than 100, comma, 000, comma, 000. All right, guys, I see that you guys are making, I know that this thing is a lot more difficult if you are typing it like a text message. If you probably were doing it inside your workbench, like the way we have like this, I'm very sure that a lot of the errors you're making, you won't be making them. But I totally get that. And I'm glad that you guys are making really good attempts. You guys are making me proud. I feel proud. All right, so let's get that code over with. I'm glad that everybody has an idea of what the code should be like. So select country.name, okay? Said all the countries in the world with a population above 100 million. So next is country language dot language, okay? Some of you took the initiative to add population, okay? That's really sweet too. So in a join country language on country dot code equal country language dot country code. All right, so here this is where it becomes important, where population dot country dot population is greater than 100 million. I'm waiting for that student that said, "Oh, that was what I wrote, sir. I didn't just send it. You answered it too early. 100, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3." Is there anybody like that here that is going to say, "Sir, that's exactly what I wrote. So I was just going to send it, then you now answered it." My code is not running, guys. Are we safe? Word.country language does not exist. spelling error. Spelling error. Country language. Where's that? Language.
The
Language.
R is missing.
Um. Country language. Where's the R? I cannot see my spelling error here yet. Guys.
Is that the code we are running? I think this is the old one.
Okay, this is actually the one. Actually, thanks. I think I just deleted it though. Control Z. Aha, because I was going to be startled there with. Hmm. Okay, so I think this is our code here.
The language is having you. The language.
The
Yeah,
language.
this one here.
The language.
Yeah, I noticed. Yeah, I noticed that. Language. All right. Why am I spelling language like this, guys?
There is an error with that second language too.
Spelling errors. Okay, so now pretty much these are all the countries of the world that does this thing. Okay, does this make sense? Now, one last exercise before we move from here to group by and to any other thing that we deem fit to add. One last thing, can we get all the countries of the world that speak English as their official language? Anybody that pulls this off today, I'm going to give the person standing ovation and a very good discount on our next bootcamp.
Countries of the world that speak English.
As their official language. So we're looking for English speaking countries. Let's put this as official language. Whoever gets this code, like perfectly gets it, and I don't have to correct a comma or anything. Whoever gets it, the person is going to have a very good discount on any program they want to register for. Or I have a better idea. Whoever gets this is going to get a certificate from Educator for a pro. We're going to certify the person for my SQL for data analysis, fundamental SQL for data analysis certificate. Class rep, certificate on the pipeline. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Quiz. I think I should put time on this one. Oh. Should I put time? So that we're not waiting forever for people to go and check. Well done, well done, well done, class rep. I celebrate you. Educator certificate, sorry, my SQL certificate going. going. Nobody's even saying wait. I'll just say gone now. Hello?
We are with you, sir. We are with you, sir.
Are you guys attempting it? Or I should just go on already? Okay, so 2 minutes and then it'll be gone. Let me put the timer so that we don't. Oops. All right, your 2 minutes is already over counting safe. IJ, IJ, my guy. You know you're supposed to be sending this thing to me privately, right? Maybe like on WhatsApp so that somebody does not come and copy your code and just correct your errors and collect certificate. Class ref. Select country.name, comma, country language from country Nigerian country language on country.code equal country language dot country code where language equal English. Sweet, 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 sweet. I think we're gone already. Me, I'm even over patient self. Okay. Thank you all for attempting. Time up. Time up. I'm going to keep our certificates. Okay, so you guys have a very good attempt here. Mhm. But my certificate is still with me. Nobody got it. Mhm. Damn, Larry, you didn't get it. Attention to detail. Let's get back to class. Okay, so we said all the English speaking countries in the world, okay? And then we now said as official language. As official language. If we go back to our country language table, select everything from country language. Okay. Oops. All right. Select everything from country language. Let me show you something. You notice that there's a column called is official. And then if it's an official language, you see true as T. If it's not an official language, you see false. So what we are interested in is all the English language that have T. So if we're going to do this, all of your codes still follow the same pattern and you guys are right. So but what it's going to look like is this: select country dot name, comma, country language. Mhm. language dot language, okay? Country language dot language from what? From country, that's our left table, in a join country language country language on country dot code equal country language. Somebody saying, sir, I got it to this point. Mhm. Language dot country code. Then we now have, this is where the problem for most of you now came in. Where, okay, so we have where country language, okay, language, where country language dot language equal English. That's number one. Then the second condition that nobody added is this, and country language dot is official. Somebody will be saying now, equal true. So we said, do you not see it? So this is where you made mistake. So even if you brought out all the English are going to come out, but whether the English was like this one, I see this ABW now as a country, they speak English, but it's not their official language. It means you'll be bringing out all the English that are not official languages. So if I run this, eh,
You made a mistake in one language there.
even
Spelling
myself, I can
mistake.
even, yeah, I saw it now. I just saw that. Even myself, I can't give myself certificates. Let me see. Language.
Yes.
My enemies be laughing at me. Okay, so let's try this. Now, these are the countries in the world that speak English as their official language. All right, so that's what we have there. I hope you got it. Class rep, let me see your response. Though. I know it's not like you didn't get it in a class rep. It was that you didn't add the second condition. You didn't add the second condition. A lot of us tried it, but we didn't add that second condition. That's the reason why. Okay, so I can see that you guys are having fun now with my SQL. You guys are even chewing it. Nice. Okay, so let's come back to the issue of group by that somebody has been with us since from the beginning. Like, let me say, group by, sir, group by, group by, group by, group by. So let's touch group by, hopefully, before we close class for my SQL. All right, so we have this. Ukoma, this is your topic of interest, right? Ukoma, are you there? All right. Let's come back. Let's talk about what group buy is. So my question is, at an average, please, is there anyone who is a teacher here? Teacher, you teach in a school. Is that a no? Well, at least is there anyone who has a department? Mba. Is there anyone who has a department, like who heads a department of people?
Yes, there is.
Okay. All right. So let's have this interaction together. So can you please just tell me, like your department of people, what are the numbers like entirely?
Okay, so it's not a large number, about six.
Oh, you had a group of 6 people. Okay.
Yeah,
How many males to females do you have?
sorry. Um, three, two females, and sorry, three females, including myself, and then three males. Yeah,
Okay. 3 females, 3 males. Hmm. How many of the males are married?
none.
How many of the females are married?
None of them are married.
Okay, let me look for another statistics again. Okay, so the reason I'm asking this question is because I want you to understand the concept of grouping. Okay, so every time we're talking about grouping, what we are doing is we are breaking down a large number into categories. Okay, so if for instance now you're heading a group of 6 people and we have to break them into 2 categories by gender in this case now, you notice that we'll now have 2 group. Okay, so the group number 1 is male, group number 2 is female. Now, the male and female, they are categories, okay? But then the what we have within that category is count of males and count of females, okay? So group by and aggregation, they always work together. That's what I'm trying to explain here. So you have categories, male and female, and then you have the numbers inside, which is the count of male, 3 here, and then 3 on the other side. Meanwhile, that's your group. You guys are evenly spreaded, very even. 3 males, 3 females. That's nice. That's very good. Okay, so that's how group by pretty much works. It's you taking your data set, picking out an entire count of a value, and then breaking it down by categories in your data set. Okay, let me explain to you what I mean by categories because if I just start saying categories, you may not get it. But for those of us who were in the previous class, I'm very sure we explained the difference between categorical and continuous data. So let me just do this, select everything from country. Okay. So in the case of categorical data here, let's look through this data together. Now, in this our data, you said,
Are you showing your screen, sir?
oh, in my mind, I am, sincerely. All right. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Great. Now, in this data set that we have here, do you remember when we talked about aggregation? We mentioned 5 aggregations, statistical aggregations. We said average, sum, minimum, maximum, count. Okay. Now we said count can only be applied to text columns. Okay. But then we can look for the minimum, maximum, average, blah, blah, blah for numeric columns. Now, those text-based columns are categorical columns, are what we call categorical columns. Okay. So in this case now, name is categorical, continent is categorical, region is categorical, surface area is not categorical, it's continuous. Okay. Independence here is not categorical, it's continuous. Population is not categorical, it's continuous. Life expectancy, continuous. GNP, continuous, and then back to categorical. Okay. So one of the characteristics of categorical data is that usually they have a limit. Okay. For instance, how many continents do we have in the world? 7 of them. So you see that there's a limit to that. Counting all the continents, like making a distinct count of all the continents, you'd notice that there's a limit in how many continents that we have, pretty much. If we do the same thing for the names of the country, you notice that there are about 200 and something countries, which is a cap there. But when you move to continuous data, like population, for instance, every day as people keep giving birth, that number increases. Currently, now they say the world is almost about 8 billion, Who knows where it will be at in 10 years' time? Maybe in 10 years' time now it will be over 10 billion. And it's going to it's going to continue like that, provided that people keep giving birth and rate is higher than death rate. It will keep going up. And there's no limit to how many to what numbers, as in I maybe there's just a point that we just call it uncountable for numbers. We just say the number is uncountable because we've already exhausted our mental capacity. Because when you move from 10, you move to 100. When you move from 100, you move to 1,000. When you move from 1,000, you move to hundreds of thousands. From that to millions, from millions to hundreds of millions, to billions, to hundreds of billions, to trillions, to hundreds of trillions, to I don't know which number is there, but as far as you want to keep going, there's always a number to it. Do you get? As the zeros are adding, there's a name for it. Definitely, there's a name definitely for it. So there's no limit to number. That's the reason why it's called continuous. So every time we are working with group by, what we are doing is pretty much we want to take up a value which most likely can be continuous data. Okay, continuous data. Then we want to break that continuous data down by a category, which is categorical data in this case. So for instance, we can want to look for all the populations, like the sum of all the populations for each continent. Okay, so that's a case where group by would usually come in. So let's do a few examples and see how that works. Okay, so here, let's say for instance, let's look for population of all the continents. Okay, so here, if we say select, what's our aggregation here? Sum, population, okay, comma, and then we now have continent here. We now say from country. What do you think is going to show here? What do you think you're going to have? Obviously, you're going to have an error. Do you know why there's an error? Goma, are you with me?
I'm here, sir.
Okay. Do you know why this is giving us an error?
Maybe because
Can you tell?
because here is continuous and here is category.
Because here's which one is continuous? What's continuous? What's categorical?
The sum population and the continent.
Okay. Now, this is the reason we're getting the error here. If you do the sum of population, how many values will you get in return? How many values will you get?
Infinity.
It's not infinity. You're going to get one value. The value can be as large as anything. It can be in billions. Obviously, the world population is in billions. Okay, but that's one value. If you write 100 billion right now, that 100 billion like this is one value. So if you solve this one here, you're going to get one value. But if you solve this one, you are not going to get one value because there are about 7 continents. So the question now is, how do you want us to spread this one value across these 7 values? That's the question you're being asked there. That's the reason why you cannot say select sum of population, comma, and then continent, and then you now say from country and expect it to just work. Rather, what you have is the moment you have that from country or something, you can now have group by. What can we group by here? What can we group this sum of population by?
Population.
Continent. Continent is what we are breaking. When we say group by, we're saying break down that population by continent. Okay, so let's try this and see. Now, if you notice, we have about 7 values here. Can you see this? So this is for North America, Antarctica, Oceania, South America, North America, Europe, Africa, and Asia. Of course, I think we count Antarctica now. When we are counting continents, Antarctica, we count it. All right. So do you now see what's going on here? So if you only pull the result of this of only continents, you'd have gotten about 7 values. If you only pull the result of sum of population, you only get one value, which is the sum of all of this, which will be in billions most likely. But then for you to now get the sum of population for each continent, what you will now do is to group everything by continent. Okay, it's the same way as you are saying that there are 6 people in my group. Okay, but then if you now say break them down by gender, now you cannot break them into two to say 3 males are on this side and then 3 females are on this side. But if you say break them down, like there are 6 females in my, 6 people in my group, you now say break them down. You have to ask to say break them down by what? Now, if you break them down by name, there's a very high probability that all 6 of them bear different names. So you still have the same data. But then if you break them down by gender, you'll be breaking them into two because they now have something in common. So of all 200 countries, all those 200 countries, majority of them they can be grouped into what's the word now? Continents, based on the fact that 2 or more of them are from the same continent. Does this make sense at all in any way? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We are with you, sir.
Okay, so let me give you a class exercise to see how you can demonstrate your understanding of this. Can you tell me can you help me pull off the numbers of countries in each continent? Numbers of countries in each continent. Using the same pattern here, if you understand what I just explained. So what you're going to have at the end of the day, instead of sum of population, you're going to be having all the continent and then the numbers of countries like 24 countries, 54 countries, 30 countries and stuff. So numbers of countries per continent. Are we attempting that? 1 minute, 1 minute, let's go. Let me get my stopwatch again. One minute. Numbers of countries by continent. Less than 30 seconds more. Ten seconds more. Interesting. 3, 2, 1. Skip back. Select some country, comma. First fish, if I shoot your head. Which one is sum of countries again? Can you sum text something that is text? Secondly, is country not okay, so my own class rep is on fire for this one. Please let's give it to class rep and Damilare, which one is no, you're not getting certificate for this one. Damilare, which one is group by continue? Group by continent. Class rep is on fire for this
Keyboard,
one.
sir. My keyboard.
Okay, that's fine. So we are grouping by continents. For class rep, you've forgotten that we when we use country.name, it was inside join because we need to specify 2 or more tables. So now that you're doing this now, you don't need to be specifying table name dot column name. But this is a superb work. And you see, when I started calling you class rep, I knew I was not I knew going to you're going to make us proud. Okay, let's take that up. So what we have here is select. Now what we said about
Mr. Ona,
aggregation is
is it only class rep that is making you proud? Now, well, all others are jealous. So, hey.
Are you sure I got it? Oh?
It is well, oh. It was class rep that almost dropped it last, oh. You commented that, not even others. Ha! It's not good, though.
Guys, if I go through your code, I used to tell you if your code is nice or something now. Okay, class rep, comments withdrawn. Just hold like 50% of the comment. I'll hold 50% back.
Mr.
When I give
Anna,
the
no,
next
don't withdraw it. Don't withdraw it. It's just a
when I
good
give the
jealousy
next,
anyway.
it's a good jealousy. When I give the next one, whoever is going to take it off class rep should take it off. All right, so let's have this. So we said select count. If when we are talking about aggregation functions, we said count only works for text-based columns. And if you want to get everything, all the names, like the number of countries we have in this thing, select everything from country. Okay, look at this. So if we're going to work on this now to say we want to count each of these countries that are inside the column, you know that what we are counting is the names of the country or country code, and this is text-based. And the only aggregation that works for text-based columns is count. You cannot sum text-based columns. You cannot look for minimum value of text-based columns or maximum or the average. It's like saying sum of all of these names like this. So if we say Afghanistan plus Nigeria plus Argentina plus Europe plus, it doesn't make sense because those are text-based. You won't get one value. Okay. So in this case here, what we are going to do is we're going to use the count, either count of code or count of name. So we can say select count. Okay. See that? Count of name. Okay. Remove this one now. Count of name, comma, continent from country. Then we can now have our group by. Nice. Group by continent. Can you see this? So if we do this, you see that here we have all the country numbers of countries are in each of these continents. Now, another interesting thing about group by, let me add something else here. Another interesting thing about group by is that you can have multiple group bys. Okay, so let's say, for instance, now in the case of those number of people, the scenario we had earlier with the with one of our colleagues who leads 6 people, 3 of them were males, 3 of them were females. If we wanted to further group that down, group, like we already broke them into 2 by gender. Okay, so we have 3 on this side. If we wanted to do a second grouping now, we can say inside that male group now, how many of these males are married and how many of them are still single. Okay, so you can, in that case, you can now have maybe 2 single, 1 married. Now, do you now see that that's the second level of group by? Do you understand? So group by can be in multiple levels. In this case, now we've done a group by continent. Okay, so we just only have one group. So what if we wanted to group them by continent and by the region that they are in? Okay, so it means that we can also add the region column here, comma, region, and then we will now say from country, and then we say group by continent, and then we also have group by, I'm not sure we can have a comma here. I think it's a second group by. Group by continent, group by region. Okay. I think a comma is going to work us here. Okay, so we have group by continent, group by region. Let's see. Something is wrong somewhere.
The and does not work with this one.
Comma. You said?
It does not work like where and.
We're going to try that out. Okay, so we have group by continent, comma, and then we have region. So you can see that for each of the region, this is the number of countries in that region, and then this is the continent we have there. Okay, so you see how that works. All right, so let me see if and should work. And group by continent and region. Nope, sorry, that didn't work. Okay, so we can have group by continent, comma, and then group by region. So you can answer that you can group by multiple columns. Okay, is this
You just,
clear?
just keep adding the commas the more you want.
By the grace of God, yes. Is this clear?
Yeah, okay. Mr. Ono, the question was number of countries in each continent, right?
Yes, it is. It was.
Thanks.
Yeah. Questions? Okay, so in the absence of any question, I think we're going to be ending class here. Let me stop sharing my screen. All right, guys, we've had a long run. Thank you very much for sticking to the end. You guys did well. Class rep, don't start again. You guys did well. And I look forward to hearing big things happening from you guys. Promotions. I look forward to hearing you guys getting new job offers, higher pay, and a lot more. I pray good things for you guys from your organizations, from your industries. I pray good things. And as those good things are happening for you too, I pray that your life also is preserved throughout the year and you live your life to the fullest. You live to your old age and fulfill all your dreams. And I hope that whatever you're learning here is a step towards a dream that you have. And I hope that by these contacts that we have, we've been able to, even if it's to just move you a step closer to your dreams. I believe we should be able to, we would have been able to do that. And that's our goal generally as educator. So thank you guys for being a part of this class. Thank you for coming our way. We hope that we get recommendations from you guys, recommendations, or you guys coming back to upgrade, recommending to your churches, organizations, groups for trainings like this, politicians, and all of that, so that we can do this again for even more people and empower them. So if you have such contact, kindly do well to give us a good recommendation, guys. Thanks a lot for everything that you do. Thank you for sticking around. Please don't leave the support group after this. Ensure that you are still on the support group so that every other thing we have coming on also, you can also benefit from that. And we can also keep this network going on. Ugoma, talk to me.
Mr. Ona, sorry, I remember that day that you said you did not have nights, that your system was down. I scheduled that class.
No, we didn't reschedule that class. If we're going to reschedule that class, it has to enter this month.
Okay.
Class rep, nobody supported you. If we're going to reschedule, if you're going to reschedule it, it has to enter this month. And this month is closing on a Thursday. All right. So thank you very much. Let's see the real MVPs. Thank you very much, class rep.
No, can
Thank
you just
you.
quickly help me check?
You said?
Can you quickly just help me check what I discussed with you yesterday?
Send me a message on WhatsApp. Let me link
All
your
right, no
results.
problem. Thank you. Okay.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Mr. Honor, please, yesterday's class has not been dropped on the group.
I will upload everything.
All right, thank you, sir.
I will upload everything. You're welcome. All right, thank you, class rep, Adekunle, Miss Volanle, Damilare, Deborah, First Fish, Pastor Babalola himself, my Oga, Rachel, Rhoda,
Thank you very
Ugoma,
much,
my
sir.
guy, OG. Thank you all for sticking to the end. I'm encouraged by you.
Thank you. We
All
appreciate
right,
it so much. Thank you
you're welcome.
so much.
Welcome.
God bless you, sir.
Welcome. You're welcome, sir.
Shout out for everybody.
Yeah, so please, if you know Mr.